Hey guys, Corey from All Day Hockey here, and today we'll be going over how EA can improve their ESHL game mode for NHL 20 and future installments of the game. EASHL mode is one of the most popular multiplayer game modes in NHL series today, and has been so since its release back in NHL 09. That mode has been given steady improvement since, but it seems since the release of Next Gen, the game mode has taken a step backwards in its development. With the recent surge of esports in the NHL series and solid backing from the community and NHL itself, we could be looking at a more serious approach to the game mode for the first time from EA in a while. And because of this, we'll be given a few suggestions on how 6s and 3s can be improved to make for a much better and enjoyable gaming experience for all types of players. Just a quick heads up though, all these suggestions are based off my opinions on what can improve the game, and from what other people around the community as well. Disagree or agree on any of these improvements? Feel free to leave a comment below and discuss. Also remember to leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for future videos. Let's get into it. Improving presentation in the game may not be at the top of most people's wish list when it comes to adding features to EASHL, but these things that I'll be listing here will for sure make the gameplay more enjoyable for everybody. To start off, the possibility of showing records against a certain team that you have played before when matched up. For example, when the game loads up, a picture can show a head-to-head comparison for both teams. Record, goals scored, penalty minutes, hits, etc. This can provide a reason for teams to really try in specific games if it's a team you have struggled against in the past, or if it's a team you have gone toe-to-toe with multiple times evenly. Creating a rivalry against teams is a great way to get people continuing to play the game and become invested in ESHL in general. Let's be real, it would be awesome to see how you stacked up against a specific team in the past. Next up, we also have team streaks. For example, if the club you're playing on is on a 5 or 10 game winning streak, there can be a pop-up during or before the game that tells everyone how you've been doing. This will provide more incentive for the opposing team to really step up their game to win, and this can also be done for losing streaks as well, just to rub a bit of salt in the wound. Next up, we have player spotlights, and no, I'm not talking about when the game will select a player and randomly show some hits or goals they scored during the game. I'm talking about when the game is about to start, a player who tore it up in the previous match they played could get some sort of spotlight showing the points they tallied during that time, and even possibly their career points in CR. This would be a cool little feature added and would just provide more of that immersion that keeps people enjoying the game and playing. Last but not least is something that isn't super important, but it's also something that was already in the games previously, is some sort of pre-game intro where you get to see your player and team walk out of the tunnel and skate onto the ice. It kind of just annoys me how there were cool little features in the game 5 years ago in the old gen and to never be seen again. Hopefully EA re-adds those as well. Alright, now for the casual player, this may not be that important to you, but I know that for tons of players who play ESHL all year long, there needs to be more competitive integration within the game for good clubs and players, and I think I might know some places where they can start. Now, last year I also made a video similar to this, and one thing I mentioned was reworking the game's ranking system, specifically creating tiers that clubs can be in. And no, I'm not talking about divisions, I'm talking about beyond that. One club in Division 1 can be beyond better than another club in Division 1, and because of this, there should be a way for teams to easily recognize the skill level of a club before the game is played, and a way for the game to match you up with the closest team to your skill level most of the time. One way this can be done is tiers, for example bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, etc. The game could possibly take into account the club CR, player CR, win percentage, etc. And I won't get into all the logistics as this is something EA would have to figure out the approach of, but on the surface it seems like a real great way to differentiate clubs from the elite to the not so great. Next up, we have competitive playlists or tournaments that can be added to the game possibly every month or so, for the best of the best to battle out for ultimate glory. My idea is to do something similar to Fortnite, yes Fortnite, with what they did with pop-up cups. You can create a playlist that clubs will specifically play and search for other clubs within, and clubs will be given points from winning, scoring tons of goals, possibly getting shutouts, etc. After a certain time frame, the clubs with the most points can play in a tournament to crown the best club of that month. You can spin this in so many different ways, and it will 100% keep people playing the whole year as long as it's kept fresh. This can be done even for both 3s and 6s, and trust me, I know people would really enjoy this feature. I know I would be, considering I played tons of 3s, and playing the same shitty clubs all the time with little competition can get pretty stale. Give us something to play for, you'll be making the game 10 times more enjoyable. Alright boys, to end off the video here, we got the big topic, what I believe is the most important aspect to making EASHL better, it's gameplay. Yes, who could have saw it coming? To say the least, the gameplay this year is annoying, weird, okay at times, and just straight up cheese. I can go on and on about what makes this gameplay in NHL 19 frustrating, but let's just focus on how they can improve it. First off, no more DR errors. No more, please. Just please get that out of the game next year. This is easily the most frustrating issue any NHL game has ever had. Bad server connection is one thing. That's always going to be a problem with this game. Bad ping will always be a problem. But DR errors are something else. Getting kicked out consistently during load-ins to games is pathetic. And worst part is EA doesn't even know how to fix it this year. That's right, the people who made the game don't know what's really causing the DR errors. So if there's anything that they have been doing during the release of NHL 19, because I know they didn't spend too much time trying to improve the game after release, is please make sure that the DR errors aren't in the game no more. This game cannot have DR errors in it again, end of story. Alright, next up is a feature that was technically in the game in old gen, and that's because practice mode in EASHL with your teammates was in the game in NHL 14 and previously. Now the mode itself wasn't crazy, it was literally just hop into an empty arena with your club members and shoot a deke around for however long you want, against computers if you wanted to also. But if they implemented that while you were matchmaking, kind of how FIFA and 2K have, then it adds an extra layer onto the game that will improve the overall gameplay experience for most players. Also, this would be great for those late night challenge sessions when not too many teams are searching and matchmaking times are super long. Giving yourself something to do even if you're just shooting around, that would be great. Next is an interesting one and it's up for debate, so I'd love to hear some of your opinions on this one, but it's using international ice for sixes gameplay instead of NHL size rinks. Now I actually heard this one from a couple people over on the competitive side of the game. I actually didn't come up with this one. I can't really name names because it was just a bunch of different people. But you know, the point of this would that it would open up space for players and create more room for creativity, and added space would allow for a faster paced game. Now for the people who like trapping and playing the breakout game like a game of chess, then maybe this one isn't for you, but it's definitely something to look at, and it might be a great way to make sixes more enjoyable and less tedious for good teams to play on. Next, we have an idea that I'm sure you have all heard before from your fellow goalies, and that's letting the goalie become the extra attacker when the net is empty. For example, the goalie heads to the bench, and instead of a computer coming on the ice as usual in the dying seconds of the game, the player who controlled the goalie would be the skater. This eliminates AI from the equation and actually allows pulling the goalie to be a more viable option than before. Let me know what you think about this one. Lastly, we have improving the body contact against the opposing skater. Now, L2ing has become the absolute meta in NHL 19, and it's easily the most annoying skill implemented in the game, especially since poke checks were nerfed. Defending somebody who is good at using the backscaling feature becomes super difficult. It's possible, but it's super difficult. And it's really ugly to watch people do this in competitive games. It's just an L2 fest, and L2ing and backskating isn't hockey. Nobody does this in real life to that extent, and it eliminates the need to use dekes to get past your defender as well. One way to counter this is to allow forecheckers to get bumped on the sides a little bit more easily, which yes may be more annoying at first, but it's also more realistic. And to counter that, you could also buff deking and add 45-degree cuts. So adding more movement and options to get past defenders into the game will not necessarily eliminate the L2, but it will take it away as a meta. More people will actually use other options to get past defenders rather than just L2. Alright guys, there you have it. Just some ways that EA can improve EASHL for next year and future games. Hope you all enjoyed. Please leave a comment down below if you have anything you want to talk about. And remember to leave a like and subscribe. Peace.